Okay, we're rolling. Steven, thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks, Tim.
What can you tell me about Earthbound Saunas and what you do?
Earthborn
Earthborn.
Nordic saunas.
Perfect.
So we build traditional Finnish saunas, mostly custom, but something started this summer. Just there's a few people building them in town, and this saw like a good fit for building premium, just better quality, more sustainable materials, and I don't know, trying to work with as many local businesses as possible to bring a really high quality product.
What falls into that category traditional?
So there's some simple principles. Rock mass is one. So lots of rock is very important for creating steam, or as the Finns call lolu. Um, Multi-tiered benches, fully insulated, floor to ceiling, um, and efficient ventilation. So keeping air flowing constantly just makes for the best experience in a sauna.
Because I mean, it seems like it varies pretty widely from a really high quality sauna to stuff much below,
Yeah.
just as far as being able to maintain temperature for
Yep.
starters. And
Yep.
then I've just been in widely different saunas.
Yeah, and that's another thing is like high heat. So ours, we can get them up to 200 plus degrees Fahrenheit. Um, but another like Finnish sauna typically ranges from 160 to 210 is kind of like the proper range. Like the infrareds, it's tough. They might reach 150. Um, and another thing with Finnish is you have the ability to control the humidity. So if you want it dry, you don't need to throw water on the rocks. But you have this ability to toss water on this huge rock mass to create steam, which makes it hotter, and it's the best, in my opinion. Like,
So as far as that, humid or dry, is it more of a preference? Is it more of what you're looking for out of the sauna experience?
I th- I think so. Like preference for sure. Like some people, like it's super humid. Like out here, it's tough to get it above 30%. Like Montana's just dry. But it's just so nice having that ability to dial it in. Like if you do like it dry, it's when it's 200 degrees, and you toss water on there. I mean, it hits you in the face and can knock you down. Um, but yeah, I just love having that ability to dial it in which way or the other.
So are you guys building these in people's homes? Are they outdoor saunas? Is it a pretty wide
Both.
range?
Yeah, so we've mostly doing outdoor ones. So we build them fully in a shop in Four Corners, throw them on a trailer, or we've got one going next week that is going to be craned in. So the crane just comes, picks it up from the shop. It's going to drive it to Big Sky and then put it over this house, and it's going to be a really cool experience.
Nice.
But
As far as the heat source, how do you guys approach that? Do you have many different options?
electric or wood is kind of what we're going with. The electric ones, it's kind of been the most popular recently. I think it's just out of convenience. These things, the heaters can be controlled with your phone. So having that Wi-Fi capability, like for me, I have two little kids. I don't have time to go out and like stoke a fire and like enjoy that primal process. I'd love to, maybe like 20 years down the road.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, so either electric or wood fired is what we're offering.
Now, was there traditionally ones that went way down in the ground that would pull heat from the earth?
Well, they used to, create a fire and then, cover it like huge amount of stone.
Yeah.
So yeah, like the traditional sapu sauna, that's what those are called. And it would, they didn't have any chimney. And so the room would just fill with smoke. And then once it got to a certain temp, rocks were hot enough, then they would let all the smoke out. And then you would have, that's why the rock mass is so important because it keeps the heat. And then it also produces a very even, um, just beautiful heat. It's not like sharp, like from just metal. Like the electric heaters, you see a lot of them where they just have like 8 rocks on top of it. And so you're getting all this really harsh heat just from the heating elements themselves, and it's not from the rock.
Do you really want to be heating the rock and then letting the rock produce the heat?
Exactly. Yeah. So all of ours, we're using heaters that hold anywhere between 150 and the one we just finished has 550 pounds of rocks. And so even with an electric one, you can get it up to temp, turn it off, let the heating elements cool off, and then the rocks just do all the work for you. And it creates very nice, even, smooth heat.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
How'd you get into this? Was it for a love of the sauna, or are you a carpenter by trade? What's the backstory? Hi, folks. Quick note from me. If you don't already know, the goal of Mountain Mule Media is to build real connection between Montana's businesses and the people they serve. If this episode or any other has given you something worth thinking about, smiling at, or passing along, I've got a small ask. Share it with a friend, text it to someone, post it in your story. That one simple action helps these businesses get seen, grow, and thrive, and it helps this show keep going. Thank you for supporting these Montana businesses. Now back to the show.
Yeah. So, I grew up on a farm, went to school for construction management.
I'm right there with you. I grew up on a farm.
Yeah.
What kind of farm?
Growing up, we had hogs, chickens,
Nice.
Cattle. My dad still has cattle, but built a lot of hay.
Mm-hmm.
Dad, all sorts of different crops.
Is that local here or somewhere else?
Virginia.
Okay.
Yeah, small town Virginia.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I grew up in the Northeast, upstate New York.
Nice. Cool. Yeah.
So you're always building stuff and working on stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You gotta just learned a lot watching my dad and uncles. Like it was a pretty big family thing. But then I went to school for construction management. My dad and brother ran a excavation company, and brother still runs it. So kind of involved with that for a long time. After I graduated, moved west. I graduated in 2009 with a construction management degree, so there was no jobs.
Nice. Yeah, perfect timing.
Yeah. So moved to Colorado just to ski for a winter. It's been 16 years. Bounced around multiple ski towns. Landed here 10 years ago, I think it's been. But the love of sauna started right before we moved here. We went to Iceland. My wife and I were there for a little over, or right around a month. And we, just drove around the whole island, stopped a bunch of different places. And I fell in love with like just the contrast therapy of, there's hot springs everywhere and then the ocean to swim in and like that hot and cold. And it's when we moved here, Bozeman Hot Springs, has so much contrast with all the different pools, the sauna, the steam room. And I just fell in love with that originally just to use it as a way to recover from skiing. Never felt better. I could ski every day of the week, do that, and still be able to go to work and feel good and keep skiing hard and hard.
And I guess you got a pretty good experience of it in Iceland to start from. And then,
we have some beautiful saunas and right on the ocean. So you could do the sauna, run out to the ocean, go swimming, and like all those, like doing different rounds. It's just the best.
Yeah. Do you follow a lot of the Wim Hof stuff and his approach with?
I've tried a few of his, little regiments. They're pretty intense.
Yeah, they are.
But I'm not that big into his particular.
Yeah, and we were talking about the new one that just opened up here in town. Me and my fiance went recently, and I was feeling it a little bit. It had been a while because I think what they say is you get cold adapted.
Definitely.
So I definitely haven't gotten like the head highs and the dizziness like I used to, but we did like full 20 minutes in that very well regulated hot sauna, and then did the cold for 30 minutes, and I'm like, whoa, I was feeling it. I was telling my fiance because she was feeling it, and I'm like, yeah, it's interesting if you feel that experience and then you read some of the science about it, and just to get the idea what's going on with the dopamine and everything is very interesting.
And they did such a good job, like having that space to go rest. Like there's, they have that big L-shaped bench with the hooks, and like you could just go there and lay down. Like my wife did the same thing. She hasn't been doing it as much as I have, and we went the other day, and I was just ripping rounds, and then she was just like, I need to lay down, and yeah, they did such a good job there.
Yeah, I was like when I went upstairs, I think to use the bathroom or spit my gum out, and Paul was up there, and I'm talking to him, and I was just trying to
Yeah.
like hold on.
Oh,
But it
it's
was,
like you feel stoned.
yeah,
It's like a high.
it's very. But can you speak to that? You know, the health benefits and everything, because I don't. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting because like the Finns and the Nordic societies. I mean, pretty much every society has used heat to combat life, like struggles. Like the Native Americans had the sweat lodges. The Finns have the sauna. Like the Turkish have the hammams. Like there's every society has implemented heat to use it in a way to just create a better life. And it's cool now that the science is starting to catch up with like what we've already like society's already known for a long time. But yeah, I mean, there's so many. That was one of the things. So 2 years ago, I ended up in the hospital for like 40 days in the summer, and it was a cancer diagnosis, and I found myself looking for ways to, not let that happen again because cancer sucks.
yeah. I'm
And
glad you're hearing okay.
yeah, it's a whole thing. We could do a whole podcast on that, but we don't need to go there. But yeah, so I found sauna was one of the main things to reduce cancer risk. Because there's a huge study in Finland. It's went over 20 years, and yeah, they found reduce heart disease by 60%. Alzheimer's, all these like horrible diseases by like over 50%, which is kind of unheard of. So there's just yeah, the science of it's pretty complicated, and you can definitely dive into that. I'm not that interested in it, honestly. It's like I know it's good for me. To me, it's the social aspect that's super beneficial. We do saunas at our house, and then we'll do a potluck dinner and dinner parties. So sauna with friends, doing these dinners, like the connection that you get is just unreal because your phones don't work. Like you can truly connect with the people you love. And I think there's so much more value in that. And it's not talked about as much, but I think that's where there's the true power is like the social connection you can gain.
I completely agree. And it's come up so many times more and more recently. I've had a couple different folks on this podcast from Warriors and Quiet Waters, and they say that the number one thing that will essentially define like your outcome, your mental health overall, is your connection to your community, your social connection.
For sure.
Above anything else, before diet, before exercise,
Yep.
is your sense of community and connection. And it's very much what they do in their program. They bring everyone together, and they have that camaraderie,
Yeah,
and that brotherhood with those groups. And like the same thing a lot of guys are missing after combat, because you're used to that.
definitely.
I couldn't agree more, because I've felt that, when we would go to the Bozeman Hot Springs a lot, there's just so many people in there. You see people, and I used to go with a lot of guys I trained at the MMA gym with, and it's such a vibe, and it's so healing.
Yeah.
Like you're just there.
Well, and there's something to be said, just doing hard things with friends.
Yeah.
Like I've spent, the relationships I have with my partners in the mountains, like those bonds are so strong because we've done so many hard things together. And sauna's similar. Like it's not necessarily like climbing a mountain, but you know, the same sort of thing happens. Like you get in there, your heart rate increases, your core temperature increases, like you're pushing yourself. And they say it's similar to moderate cardiovascular exercise. And doing that with others just creates such a connection.
Yeah.
And just no phones. Like that's the best.
Yeah, I couldn't agree. And because they did that with their facility in Bozeman here. Like, there's a no phone policy,
Yeah.
which is awesome. You know, like I don't know, some homes have that, like no phones at dinner. Like,
Yeah.
makes sense. We can just hang out and shoot the shit.
And that's what the sauna is, I think, what it needs to move more towards. And it's happening. It's like more of like this community dinner table setting. It's a place to like tell stories and like just connect with others. And I think, the Tyler and Paul are doing like what they brought into the town is amazing.
Yeah, and I love the way Tyler said it. He's like, I think the community's ready for this.
Yeah.
Meaning, I think the community needs this at the same time because we have that in a lot of ways with sports. But so many of the sports, especially the extreme outdoor sports, are so single. You know, like you ski with a group, but like most of the time you're skiing. Like you're not there talking with them, and it's there. But I get what he's saying,
Yeah.
and there's really not much of a barrier to entry other than if you can tolerate some heat and some cold water.
Exactly. Yeah, and there's, as long as you're not pregnant or you just had a heart attack, like
Yeah.
pretty much everyone can use.
And I think to what you were saying, I said this to my fiance, and I told her not to quote me on this, but I think it's what I think it's the same study you were talking about. I think it was a 50% reduction in all cause mortality.
Yeah.
So across the board, and it makes, I think, even for people that can't, either just don't want to work out or can't, but it does mimic that because it gets your heart beating.
sure.
And it really puts you through everything other than the actual physical.
Yeah. Yeah. I
exertion.
mean, there's people with disabilities, just the elderly, like it's literally for everyone.
Yeah. And the way I think they said if it was 60 minutes of sauna a week and maybe like 7 minutes of cold exposure a week was what they did with that 20-year study.
Ideal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
And yeah, there's ways you can do it out here too with some of the natural hot springs and the cold water.
For sure.
There's like a cool spot out towards Whitehall, somewhere on the Jefferson. People might get mad at me if I'm like sharing it, but there's a hot spring and then there's the Jefferson, and you can literally just go back and forth. And that's a different way to do it.
Yeah. And, there's sauna can be a noun or a verb. You have the place, the sauna, or like the verb is, going to sauna, and that's includes cold. It's, the hot, the cold, the rest, the hydrate. It's a cycle. And like sauna is a verb, like that's it. And it includes, like, you can't have the true sauna without cold.
I've never heard anyone explain it that way, but that makes complete sense. So you guys are just you guys are building them kind of all over Montana right now?
Yeah, so we've delivered them to Sheridan, Helena, Bozeman. Got a couple in Big Sky, one to Reed Point. Yeah, kind of all over Montana at this point.
And this is how long has it been you've been doing this?
I did a soft launch early summer this year. I've been doing general construction in the Valley for about 5 years, and I had some prior engagements and projects I needed to finish before I could like dive in fully. But around September, timing worked out pretty well. Got 4 orders, and we've just been cranking.
It's smart. I think it's really become a very popular thing, and I think a much needed thing to what you're saying.
Yeah, and it's there's so many reasons to it. Working inside year round, like that's another big reason to do this. Like before cancer, I was doing the general construction in the summers, and then I ski guided in the winter. So I'd bust ass all summer and then take a break in the winter and go to Cook City and ski guide. Then afterwards, kind of put a lot of strain on many different aspects of life. And so it was just a way to create, more consistent year-round work, be inside, but also work with materials that I want to work with and do more design, and just build things more sustainably is kind of more of a passion. We're using a lot of materials that aren't necessarily common in like general construction, because I think a sauna just deserves that. And we're at a place where we need to focus more on where stuff's coming from and like how it's made. And I don't think there's any other or better place than a sauna that's, a place meant for relaxation and I hate to say wellness, but wellness. Yeah.
I respect that, and I couldn't agree more about the sourcing. A big part of this podcast is local businesses. I love supporting local, and just we can do as much as we can here. Like it's great to support the whole country, but if we can keep stuff here,
For
as
sure.
from our food, our materials, and everything, and we're in the middle of the country, so it takes a lot to get stuff here.
Yeah. Yep.
Is it a lot of cedar as far as the wood and what you're making them of?
Yeah. So all the interiors are Western red cedar, which we source from Emmer Brothers, literally 300
Yeah,
yards
right.
away.
Yeah, right down. Yeah.
Great people over there. They are, if they don't have it in, they can get it. Everything they bring in is FCS certified, meaning it's from sustainably harvested forest. But great quality. Insulation we use is hemp wool. So we use, it's from a company based in Boise now, but it's essentially insulation that's made from hemp. It's better with heat, it's better with moisture. It's carbon sequestering, so it actually filters the air. And it's, I think, 80% of the hemp that's grown for their facility is from Montana. So I've went back and forth on materials for the insulation. Sheep's wool is another great option. Unfortunately, here in the U.S., the sheep's wool that you can find, it all comes from New Zealand. There's not enough sheep herders in Montana or like the U.S. to, I guess, create that market. But the hemp is great stuff to work with.
What are some other main products that are involved in building these?
So I mean the heaters and the lights that we use come from over the pond.
Okay.
Finland and Estonia typically. So those are the two things that we really don't get from here. Kenyon supplies all of our framing lumber and fasteners and all that stuff. Work with Lee at Core Electric. He does all the wiring for all the saunas for us. Awesome dude. Shout out to Lee. Let's see. Working with just other local businesses with. I've got sauna buckets engraved from Pat over at Bozeman Trophies.
Oh, nice.
Like he does awesome work. I work with a transport guy he's based out of Great Falls, but Chavis comes down with tumbleweed transport and delivers all the saunas for us. Nick at Montana Crane. Yeah,
Nice.
It's just fun working with.
Yeah.
This
it's like literally, with this business and like all these local businesses is how I really try to build my whole model. It's fun. You just feel the connection with your community.
Definitely.
What's the biggest one you guys make or have made?
So the one we literally just finished like 30 minutes ago.
Congratulations.
We got it cranked on.
Nice.
It's heating up. So the hot room is 8x10. So it's enough for 8 people comfortably. Guarantee we could fit 20 people in there. But it's going to be a sweet one, craning over people's house into place. But just beautiful. That's the other thing. It's doing this gives me the opportunity to kind of show off design skills and like the craftsmanship. And it's really special just taking these plans that I give to people. Like we go back and forth with like dialing and stuff, and then seeing the finished product is.
So are you drawing a lot of these up for they're kind of custom for what they want?
So I do like during a consultation we just figure out like all of the wants, needs, figure out where the best location would be, orientation for snow, prevailing winds, like making sure it's just not going to get buried with snow all winter. And then I draw some basic drawings, and then I work with a guy who's a wizard on CAD, Kyle. Shout out to Kyle Henry. He does 3D drawings. He'll make a little video for me, and then also just dimensional drawings. And then that gets sent to the client, and then sometimes it takes a few renditions to get it dialed, but that's
very cool, man.
It's fun.
Yeah. Do you anticipate anyone going crazy like on a what is Tyler and Paul's? Does that fit like 24 or something?
Oh man, that one's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean a commercial one like that, it'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Did
Yeah.
you do any work with any of those or?
I didn't know them then.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. That's big, but I could imagine like the longer you do this, you'll probably start doing some
yeah,
crazy stuff.
yeah. No, we've got a commercial one up in Big Sky, starting first of the year.
Are you guys doing anything on the cold plunges?
I built myself a prototype, and it turned out great. I just don't have the time to
Yeah.
that. There's so many people building those things now, and I think even at Arctic Spa they have some really dialed in units. At this point, it's just recommending something else.
Yeah. I know the Montana Classic is just a
Yeah,
water
yeah,
trough on a cattle heater.
yeah,
Just
yeah. The first one or second one delivered. She wasn't into the cold plunge at first. She's like, "Oh, I'm not gonna need that." And then
mm,
one of her neighbors convinced her, and she got a stock tank. She sent me a picture a couple weeks ago. She's
nice.
like, "It's amazing."
You said you have kids, right?
I do.
Do they mess with the
Uh,
saunas and the cold plunge
uh,
and
they'll get in the heat. You can stay on the lower bench,
mhm.
but not for long.
Yeah.
They're 2 and 3.
Oh
So
yeah, so you gotta be careful.
yeah,
Yeah, is there age like
the Finns will say
protocols?
no. Like they have babies in the saunas.
Yeah.
This is a place of birth, life, and death. It's like literally all stages of life.
Wim Hof's probably in there with a Heineken holding a baby in his hand.
Right.
Right.
But there's, the levels of heat vary so much, from the floor to the ceiling. The floors, might get 100 degrees, whereas, up in the ceiling, it's 200 plus. And that's why, like, having multiple tiers of benches is so important. Because, there's a lot of designs out there that if it's just one layer of benches, then, you're going to have cold feet and a hot head, which is,
Yeah, because I'll start moving down the benches depending on how it's going.
yeah,
That's I wasn't interested in Tyler's and Paul's because the floor wasn't too hot. It's not too hot to stand on.
yeah.
I don't know what goes into the design of that part of it.
It's just the stratification of heat.
Yeah.
Like heat rises, and the heaters, even when they're on the ground, it just rises, and the top or the bottom 30 inches will stay pretty cool.
Yeah, that's why I need some ceiling fans in my shop because
Yeah,
all the heat's up there. Like,
Yep.
but you get that. So you guys have a shop. You're building them all pretty much in the shop, unless it's custom in somebody's house.
Yep, exactly.
Have you done many of those built in their houses?
This will be the first one,
Cool.
but it's gonna be a lot less headache, honestly.
Do you guys do any infrared stuff?
No.
So it's all just like natural.
Yeah.
What's the term, like rock sauna or what is?
Traditional Finnish, I think, is the most appropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the infrared ones, I'm not a huge fan. For me, it's just not hot enough. Like I said before, they get maybe 150 degrees, and I've tried them out, and for me, I have to stay in there for an hour to get a sweat. And whereas some, like the ones we're building, 10 minutes, 200 degrees, like I'm dripping.
Yeah.
So it's just not my thing.
Have you ever, like not to dog at all, have you ever been to the Ridge downtown in Bozeman?
I haven't.
So they redid that whole facility and they put a sauna in there. And the thing is just never warm enough.
Yeah.
I've just left them, friendly reviews like 5 times. Like it's not hot enough. I'm like sitting there for like 30 minutes. I'm like, this is a waste of my time. Like and they put a lot of money into it, but I just, no disrespect to whoever did, if it just wasn't designed properly to hold the heat.
Yeah.
So,
and it's unfortunately all too common in the US, and that's where we're trying to, and Tyler and Paul are doing a great job. Like those are legit saunas, high heat, ability to throw water on the rocks. Like that's what you want, and that is a sauna. Like the ones that say you can't throw water on the rocks, like it's just an insurance BS from probably like those 60s. All of a sudden everyone in America's like, no, that's probably not a good idea. Even though these things, the heaters are literally built to have water thrown on them. Yeah.
That was so common at the Bozeman Hot Springs. Is like, do not pour water on the rocks. And there's always some guy in there, like every 5 minutes.
Always.
Like, thanks, man. Like, because you feel the heat
Oh
hit you,
yeah.
and like that's what people
That's
are looking
so
for.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean there it makes I think with the pools, I don't know if they're not chlorinated. They might be chlorinated.
I think the what maybe the indoor ones are and the outdoor ones
Yeah.
aren't. There's a I know some of them are and some of them aren't.
And that's the issue is, if you throw chlorinated water on the
Yeah.
rocks, like that's not good.
And that's a tough facility because it's so high traffic. There's so many kids. There's so many people, and it it is what it is, and it really is great for what it is. But it's sometimes it does take away from the experience a little bit. And there's a million kids, and the door's always open, and it's tricky.
Yeah.
But it's cool that there's that place that's that accessible to the public.
Definitely.
Yeah, and they put a lot of money into that recently, and they've got a good size sauna.
Is it the same one or a new one?
I think it's the same one still.
Okay.
Yeah, but they put a lot of money into like the other parts of the facility with the sauna
Yeah.
and the cold plunge is right there.
Yep.
I don't know that cold plunge at Tyler and Paul's is. They said it's 50, but it still feels like 30. I just know I'm a little soft because me and my buddy sat in the Bozeman Hot Springs cold for 40 minutes.
Whoa.
And we just kept going. Like, we were like, he wanted to beat his ex-girlfriend's record of 15. And we're like 20, 25, 30. We like could barely walk when we got up.
Is that the one next to the really hot tub? Or the
one
with the waterfalls?
I don't know if it has a waterfall, but it's kind of on the west end there. I think there's a warm one on each side.
Yeah.
So it was like, it's 50s, maybe 55, but you sit in there for 40 minutes and it really, yeah. We got up and we're like, never again. I'm like, from where the chest mark is, we're like completely red and then white. I'm like, I don't know what's wrong with us.
Nice.
But we've been like, oh, we should bring some snorkels and go underwater because we'll go under for a minute or 2 minutes. But the same thing back to the community and like, we're just there together
just
having
doing
fun.
Stuff together.
I've told so many people that because some of the conversations you'd hear at the Bozeman Hot Springs sauna are like priceless.
Yeah.
Like you cannot make them up. And I'm like, I really think this is where all bro science originates.
Right.
Is in this exact room because just this, and I'm the one in there like, like 50% reduction in all cause mortality. Like, I think that sounds right, but like that's just the conversations that go on. But it's so fun
for sure,
and it's very cool that you're doing that. And I want one in my own house so bad. It's just something I don't have yet.
Yeah,
but like to make it a family thing and then an extension of your family to your friends and everything, and
it's so fun.
I've been saying this for a while that if I don't have a home gym, but I would love to at some point, and this is the idea. And this could be done publicly, and I think this would be very cool. This is very similar to what Tyler and Paul have done, but, a place where you can work out, and then there's a kitchen where you can cook all your food after you work out, and then you have the sauna and the cold plunge element.
Yeah.
Like, I'll go on what you said, a wellness day. But how much fun, to make really good food and have that after you work out, and then somewhere sequence in that cold and hot. So,
definitely.
Like, that could be a day. Like that's a dream house type situation
for sure.
But I also want to have kids and stuff. So who knows? If anyone wants to find you and have a sauna built, where do they find you?
Earthborn Sauna on Instagram, Facebook, website earthbornsauna.com.
Cool.
And we've got one of the long-term goals is to make this more accessible to everyone, because I know like we're not, these are out of reach for a lot of people, so be on the lookout we got some stuff in the works hopefully this winter to make that happen.
Very cool. I think that's how it seems to go with a lot of things, is they're unattainable to a lot of people, and then we figure out ways to be more efficient. I mean, kind of like the home computer model.
Yeah.
It was the ultra elite, and now most of the homeless people have a cell phone with the internet. So
it's just too powerful for everyone to not have access.
Anything that does the name, the Earthborn, is there any story to the name, or?
It's just, materials, everything in there just is natural and it comes from the earth.
Cool, man. Well, I appreciate what you're doing, and thanks for your time, Stephen.
Yeah, appreciate it, Tim.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thanks for listening, folks. You can find the full blog post for every episode, along with key takeaways and links at mountain-mule.com. If you haven't yet, consider following the show. That one small action helps these Montana businesses get seen, grow, and thrive, and it helps this podcast keep going too. If you know a business that would be a good fit for the show, we'd love to hear from you. Just reach out through the website or social. Thank you for supporting these Montana businesses. See you on the next show.